he shows up. Let me do some housekeeping real quick. All right. Just sorry about that. So let's see. Let's start. I have a quick list of things to do, and then we'll go right to the event. So first of all, thank you so much. My name is John Faust. I am the outgoing chair. Except for the front row right here. There's a restraining order against you, Dylan. Why are you here? What part of stay 500 yards away don't you understand? So, I am the outgoing chair of the NAPC. Put your hands together for Craig Frost from Pineapple Beach, our new chair. Where are you, Craig? Right there in the middle of the back. Legwork is in good hands with him. And also, my neighborhood, downtown Jewel, I have Dave Wilson here. He's our new chair. All right. We do have Vice Mayor and other commissioners in the audience. I know I saw Scott Maxwell and Andy Amoroso. Obviously, we have the other two commissioners right here on stage. I didn't see Mary yet. If she comes in, I want to acknowledge her. Special thanks, the Playhouse, for us to be here. Let me tell you, the Camelot set is not for this event. It's actually for Camelot. They're here on the stage tomorrow night again. Get tickets, there's a couple left. Also tomorrow night, the Lake Worth movie at the City Hall. Thank yous. Our committee for this event. Ryan Marshall, Craig, Anna Maria, Greg Rice. Greg Rice is in Orlando right now watching this live, but if the rest of you could stand up and take a quick applause, because the moving parts behind this are actually... Jaeger Technologies Services, they're streaming this. If you have a Facebook on your phone, I'm sorry, if you have the Facebook on your phone, Jaeger Technology Services, tell your friends and neighbors that can't be here, they can watch it live. And of course, Wes Blackman, he'll push it on YouTube tomorrow night, or tomorrow morning, if not tonight. Volunteers, ushers, timekeepers, hardest working people right here at the front row. Presidents. We have a ton of neighborhood presidents here. Future president past. Mary Lindsay, you're in here somewhere. Where are you? There you are. Hi, Mary. She had the 5-year stint before my 5-year stint, so Craig, you're doing 10 years, by the way. Who else? Let's go. Events coming up. Great Taste, February 22nd. Tickets on sale in the lobby. This is always a great event. We have over 30 merchants and restaurants signed up for this. This is a blast. It's the Friday night before Street Painting Festival. Fluffing. I'll take this privilege that my neighborhood fundraiser is in March 23rd. You get fluffing tickets, the Florida Putt Putt Golf Home and Garden Tour. Let's see. That's it. Get out and vote. Now let's change gears to our moderator. So, local attorney. He specializes in business law and real estate law. He's done this with the absolute least negative feedback for a couple of years now. Before John, it was hit or miss. I'm not saying it was all miss, but it was hit or miss. And we are so happy to have John Paxman back this year. CRA Commission, big fan of the Street Paint Festival. Please put your hands together again for John T. Paxman. It's all yours.
Well, you can tell it's Lake Worth because it's the least negative comments and feedback on the job. So tonight, we have great candidates. We're going to come here and discuss the topics that affect the city. There's a bunch of questions. I've never read one of them. They're sitting right here in front of me. Someone handed them to me and goes, go read these questions. First thing we're going to do tonight is I'm going to talk to the timekeepers. They serve an important part here. And we're going to talk a little bit about the format, and then each of the candidates will have opening statements of 2 minutes. Timekeepers. I know we discussed with most of you earlier, we have our questions that are 2 minutes, 1 minute, and 30 seconds tonight. So when I read the question, I'll say before I even read it that it's going to be a 30-second question, so you can get your timepieces set. After I ask the question, start your timer for the candidate who is speaking. And when it comes to be done, put up the stop. Keep it up, please, so I can see it, especially here in the middle. If you pick it even too low, I can't see the time in the timekeepers. There's a speaker in front of us or a monitor in front of us. That being said, each candidate will be entitled to two 2-minute rebuttals during the time that is allotted to this debate, which is approximately 2 hours. With that being said, I'm going to try to be as kind of random and make sure everyone goes first and everyone gets a chance to go last, as I try always to do. And candidates, if you do have your rebuttal, hold it up for me, and then after the person you want to rebut stops, hold it back up so I can see it. It's a little hard. You're all down a straight line in front of me, so just do what you can do with that. I appreciate it, and I will make sure I call them. If I miss you out of rotation, or if I don't call them to rebuttal, or if I mispronounce your name, please stop me, correct me, remind me. I'm happy to have the reminder so everything goes as well as possible. The last 3 years that I've done this have been just so easy because all the candidates have just basically come out here in good faith, attacked the questions, answered the questions, and been great sportspersons about that. And I hope we can all do that again today. That being said, we'll start with Commissioner Omari Hardy with his opening statement, and we'll go straight on down the line. Timekeeper, 2 minutes.
Hi everyone, my name is Commissioner Omari Hardy, and I have had the pleasure of representing District 2 on the Lake Worth City Commission for the past 2 years. Before we really get into it, I want to thank everyone for showing up here this evening. As a civics teacher, I try to teach my students to do exactly what it is that you're doing. I try to teach them that by showing up, by getting involved, by observing what's happening in their community, and also by letting their voice be heard, that they can make their community a better place. And so I hope that one day, all 110 of my students are going to be doing exactly what it is that you're doing. So I would give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you. I'm standing here today running for my re-election because I did exactly what it is that I said I would do 2 years ago when I ran. When I ran 2 years ago, I said that I would focus on crime. I said when I ran last time that I would focus on the critical infrastructure, our roads. I said last time that I would focus on bringing sensible investment to the city. And so if you fast forward 2 years to today, what have we seen? We've seen our crime rate drop 17% last year and 27% so far in 2018. That's a very positive thing, and we've done it because of the work that myself and my other commissioners have done. With the road bond, we've seen that project proceed. We've seen it proceed ahead of schedule. We've seen it proceed and come in under budget so far. We've also seen sensible investments come in all over the city. This commission has improved projects that we haven't really seen before. We approved Lake Cove, which is 57 single-family homes. Those folks are going to be paying taxes. Those folks are going to be spending money. And hopefully some of those folks next year or 2 years from now are going to be sitting in your seats participating. We've approved the mid, 230 luxury apartment units. We've approved small things like the bed and breakfast on O Street. We've approved a luxury condominium building a stone's throw away from this building. I did what it is that I said I would do, and I'm running to ask for your vote because I would like to build on the successes that we've had in such a short period of time. Thank you.
Thank you. I was a bit remiss before. We have 2 different districts that have campaigns. We have Omari Hardy and Kathy Turk in District 2, and then we have Herman Robinson, William Joseph, who currently is not in attendance, Tom Copeland, and Richard Garrico in District 4. So we have the 2 closest in one group, one grouping, and the 4 furthest away from me in the other grouping. And Kathy Turk, you have your 2 minutes, please.
Hi, I'm Kathy Turk. I want to thank the NAPC and the Playhouse for hosting us and for all of you for being here. I am a mom, a business owner, a homeowner, and a volunteer. My daughter is a student at the University of Kentucky, and my son is a student at Emory University's Business School. I started my own business in Boca Raton in 2001. We do supplemental staffing, project management, process improvement, and HR consulting. About 5 years ago, or 5 years into CDT, and a lot of hard work and long hours, I had built 2 offices and had 56 full-time benefited employees working for me around the country, as well as contractors. Today I'm semi-retired and I work part-time for my home office. I purchased my home in Lake Worth 3 years ago. In my search for my forever home, I looked in Georgia, I looked in the Carolinas, I looked on both sides of Florida. For me, it came down to a few things. 1, I wanted to stay in Palm Beach County. 2, I needed to be near a beach. 3, I needed 3 bedrooms because kids do come home. And I had a Labradoodle and a Golden Retriever that were coming with me. Shortly after moving into my home in Tropical Ridge, I discovered that Wawa wanted to place a 16-pump mega gas station 18 inches from my living room window. I quickly got in touch with my neighborhood. I got to know people like Stephanie and Rocky and my commissioners, and for the very first time I attended a commission meeting and I spoke my 2 minutes at each one. Since winning the Wawa fight, I have served on the Lake Worth Planning and Zoning Board. I was the president of the Lake Worth Art League. I am a board member for the Friends of Lake Worth Parks and Rec. I have working with our schools to fill their food pantries, and I'm a steward of a Little Free Library. I have worked for years with negotiating contracts and helping clients achieve their strategic goals. It's time I bring my business skills, my personal experience, my values, and my temperament to our dais. I look forward to answering your questions.
Thank you. From District 4, Herman Robinson.
I'll repeat thank you to the NAPC, the Lake Worth Playhouse, and to all the people participating in our democratic process in our great city. It was love at first visit in 1998 that I wanted to make Lake Worth our home. Before the honor of serving as District 4 Commissioner, I immediately became involved in our community. I founded the Bryant Park Neighborhood Association, served as president for 4 years. I was instrumental in founding the NAPC. I invested in historic building downtown and had a business there. I became part of our great city's volunteer spirit by serving on planning and zoning and as chair of the Historic Preservation Committee. When I was president of Kiwanis, we created and helped fund a new soccer field in Sunset Ridge neighborhood. Since becoming your commissioner, we have developed and maintained disciplined growth, which encourages young families to come to Lake Worth. We have managed your road bond to come in ahead of schedule and under budget. We have invested in license plate readers, security cameras, and to facilitate reduction of crime. Last year, the crime went down 27%. We have made a positive change in our comprehensive plan and historic guidelines to make permitting less onerous to property owners. We have invested in electric cars, new communication and GIS technology, and at my suggestion, increased the income of our oceanfront casino park by $800,000 per year. In short, we are doing every great things together, and I want very much to continue my service to everyone in Lake Worth. Please vote for me, Commissioner Herman Robinson, for the love of Lake Worth. Thanks.
Thank you. Now we'll hear from District 4 candidate Tom Copeland.
All right. Good evening, Lake Worth. My name is Tom Copeland. I'm running for City Commissioner for District 4, and I'm so humbled to be up here tonight asking for your votes. Thank you to the NAPC, thank you to the Playhouse, of course, and thank you to our volunteers, and thank you to you for coming out, because you're the reason why we're up here tonight. I also need to thank my wife. She's Tracy. She's out there somewhere, because without you, I wouldn't be up here as well. I'm going to use my time to talk about myself, which is really uncomfortable for me, so bear with me. I was born and raised in Palm Beach County. I'm a native son. I left only to graduate from the University of Florida with a degree in business and marketing. Go Gators. My love for Lake Worth started in 2009. My wife is going to kill me for this, but we met at Brogues in 2009. We've had more romantic things happen since then. But we bought our home together in South Palm Park, and we've been invested in our community and in our city ever since. Today I work as the marketing director for a major regional law firm. I run a team of marketing professionals. My wife and I started a real estate company in Lake Worth. I'm proud to say it's one of the few women-owned independent real estate brokerages in West Palm Beach. It's a mouthful, but it's an amazing thing. We started that in 2015. Onto my civic and volunteer service, I have sat on various nonprofit boards and participated in civic volunteer service as well. I sat on the Sustainability Advisory Committee for the city of West Palm Beach for 2 years. That was an incredible experience. I also sat on the Finance Advisory Board for the city of Lake Worth for almost 3 years, most recently serving as chair before running for office. I started a nonprofit with a friend in 2016. It was really just an idea that we kicked around a table, and I'm proud to say here in 2019, we are going in with $170,000 in funding. Thanks. The reason I say that, though, is not for accolades. The reason I say it is because we worked hard at it, we had an objective, and we achieved it, and that's what I'm looking to bring to the city of Lake Worth. Thank you very much.
Now District 4 candidate, Richard Piercy.
Thank you, John. First, I want to thank Michelle, because I wouldn't be here without her. Love you, babe. I want to thank all of you for being here, NAPC, John Paxman for moderating. I came here in 1995. I lived over the bridge. You might all remember an art gallery up here on Lake Avenue in the 800 block called Studio E Gallery. I bought a bunch of art there, and they'd asked me to run the gallery for them part-time. So I did that for about 2 years while we were rebuilding Dixie Highway and our side streets here with FDOT. Michelle's family, you might remember Club 502, that was on the corner of Lake and M and Lucerne. And that was owned by her sister's husband, Rich Conti, and his brother, Gene. And that's where we met in 1996. And we moved here permanently about 10 years ago. I have a Wall Street background. First registered in 1976, retired my licenses in 2012. And the last thing I did there was, as an investment banker, was Microsoft-centric technologies and energy. Those are the two things I did. I bring that here as the chair of the Finance Advisory Board and the Bond Oversight Committee, and use those skills to go forward and try and drive the board to do good things for Lake Worth. It's the volunteerism part of that gets me, and all the things that we have going here in Lake Worth, the electric utility, the water plant, and everything else. Why I'm standing here is I find the City Commission in a moment of dysfunction. I find a lot of sniping, I find a lot of personal agendas, I find a lot of not necessary, not Lake Worth-centric things going on in the day. It's talking about national items that we have no control over. We can't ban gun bump stocks if we're sitting there on the bridge. We can vote all day long, that's not going to happen. We can't get ID cards for people, things like that. We have ridiculous ordinances that come up. We are a boating community. You can't have a boat in your driveway. I find that to be pretty outrageous considering where we are. Things like that. So I want to bring some common sense, bring my skill set, and the dedication that I have to diving into this. If you've known me, you've seen this notebook, right? I bring this everywhere I go. It's all for the city, and that's what I'm here for. I think I'm the best qualified person here for this job.
All right, Richard Piercy, we're going to have you start out on our first question, then we're going to come right back down the line to me. And our first question is a 2-minute question, timekeepers and candidates. And it is, what neighborhood association do you live in? And are you a member? What can the city or specific departments do either directly or indirectly to help our neighborhoods? Thank you.
Thanks, John. Michelle and I are members of 2 neighborhood associations. We are at South Palm Park. We moved there 3.5 years ago, and we've rarely missed a meeting. Last meeting we missed, we were on a plane landing in PBI in October. We're also members of Parrot Cove, which is our former neighborhood. We're very active in both of them, more active in our current neighborhood. The city's done a wonderful thing for us in South Palm Park. They've taken care of the park for us. They've done some median work. We've had great relationships with staff. PDSO's been great about trying to keep the crime out of our neighborhood. You know, where we are is as Lake Worth narrows in the south end. So Federal Highway is literally just a half a block away from a lot of what goes on in our neighborhood. And a lot of what goes on down there spills into our neighborhood. We find needles, we find condoms, things like that. PDSO's been great about cleaning that up. So I think the city's doing this as well as they can to support the neighborhood associations, in my experience. That's about all I can say about that.
Okay, all set. John, could you repeat the question?
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say, if anyone needs a question repeated, please feel free to ask. They're kind of long, some of them. So, for Tom Copeland, what neighborhood association do you live in, and are you a member? What can the city or specific department do either directly or indirectly to help our neighborhoods?
Great. Okay, thanks for the question, John. So I live in South Palm Park. My wife and I bought our home in South Palm Park in 2014. We are very much invested in our neighborhood association. In fact, the month that we moved in, which also happened to be the same month as the 4th of July, which was a lot of fun, but the same month we went straight to the neighborhood association meeting and got in touch with everybody. It was a wonderful, wonderful thing. So what can the city do? I would say that especially in our neighborhood association on the south end of South Palm Park, we actually haven't had a candidate for commission or a commissioner in that area, south end of the neighborhood, for many years. I've been told something like 25 years. So what I'm excited about is taking my time on the dais and bringing it back. I think that a commissioner has two jobs. One job is to make the big city decisions, the big decisions for the city, but also paying attention to their neighborhood and bringing back some wins. So one of the things that I like to look at is using infrastructure, focusing on aggressive code enforcement, working with PBSO and working with our code enforcement. We had a grant last year that was a wonderful thing that allowed PBSO and code enforcement to work together, and it actually resulted in the arrest of a convicted felon, wanted felon. So that was a wonderful thing. I'd like to see that relationship strengthened. I also would like to see in all neighborhoods, not just my neighborhood association, but investments in delighting and beautification. We can do this by identifying more grants and more appropriations and getting outside of our city to see if we can find ways to do that. So that's what I'd say. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Candidates, you can feel free to sit in or perch on the stools behind you if you feel like it during the debate. So let's see.
I have the question.
You have the question? Okay, Herman Robinson, your turn.
And I'm a member of, a founding member of Bryant Park Neighborhood Association. I'm also the liaison from the commission to all the neighborhoods, and I try to attend all of the meetings. All of the neighborhoods are varied in activities and interests, and I didn't, at my outset, didn't use the political base of my neighborhood to work for the betterment of the city. I have a sort of an issue with communication, both from the city and from the neighborhoods communicating. It's important, and we need to better that. The Parks Department is doing the best with the manpower that they have and the budget that they have. Leisure Services provides events in Bryant Park and helps facilitate the other activities in the other neighborhoods. Neighborhoods are near and dear to my heart, and Bryant Park is probably proportionately the highest density multifamily neighborhood in the city, and we recognize all people in the neighborhood as part of our city. And when other neighborhoods only allow home ownership to be members, I find that offensive to people that are here as renters. And I look forward to the improvements in all the neighborhoods. And I love the neighborhoods. Thank you.
All right. So as I stated earlier, I live in Tropical Ridge Neighborhood Association, and that's takes place between 10th Avenue North and Lucerne, Dixie, and 95. We have a very small neighborhood association, and yes, I am a member. I've been a member ever since Wawa came knocking on the door. It's so interesting because just a few weeks ago, we had a strategic planning session in our neighborhood. We examined our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities, and our threats. And the thing with Tropical Ridge is we have a very diverse neighborhood, and rather than hiding from it, we need to embrace that. We all agreed that the city is actually one of our strengths, because if any of us make a phone call, actually they listen. The city listens to us and they do help us. Now, I would appreciate it if they knocked down the fees on hanging banners, though. I'll put that plug in right now. And A Street is an issue, but you know, we all know about that one. But as far as the neighborhood itself, I came away from this strategic planning session extremely excited about my neighborhood. I'm looking forward to it. I think you guys should look forward to it too, because I think that you're going to see some really great things coming out of Tropical Ridge. Thank you.
When I first moved into the city, I moved into Tropical Ridge, and pretty quickly I became a member of my neighborhood association. And even though I've since moved out of that neighborhood, I still come to almost every neighborhood meeting. Now, obviously, as a commissioner, I have to attend other neighborhood associations as well. So sometimes if there's a conflict, I will dip out and go to another meeting. But I'm an active member of the Tropical Ridge Neighborhood Association. I think what we can do to help the neighborhoods is, frankly, to continue doing what the city's been doing. I think the city is going in the right direction. I think a lot of that starts from the bottom up level with our neighborhoods. Focusing on crime, which was an issue in Tropical Ridge, which is the single poorest neighborhood in the city of Lake Worth with a 48% poverty rate. Focusing on infrastructure. Our neighborhood had been neglected for a very long time. It had not received any attention. Our commissioner was absent in a way, and I really, really wanted to show my neighborhood and all the neighborhoods on the west side of Dixie, but particularly in my district, the attention that they deserve so that I can learn their issues. And infrastructure was an issue, and we're solving that problem with the road bond. We're solving that problem also with infrastructure from the CDBG program. As far as code enforcement is concerned, we did get a grant that focuses in part on my neighborhood, Tropical Ridge, and as well as the neighborhoods of Royal Point, Sienna, and the Genesis neighborhoods. I was instrumental in getting that grant money. I was the only person on the commission who realized, after reading the eligibility criteria for the Community Development Block Grant Program, that you can use that money for code enforcement. And so that's what I did, and that money is being deployed exclusively on the west side of the city in those neighborhoods that we discussed, and that has helped drive out a lot of the bad landlords that we have in the city and put the pressure on them. I would like to add to that two things. We have to work more closely with the county, and we have to work more closely with FDOT, and both of those things to the benefit of our neighborhoods. We used to be able to get REAP grant money for your neighborhood banners, and they recently took that away, the county did, because they wanted control over that process. We have to let them know that our neighborhoods need that money. Additionally, with FDOT, we have a traffic problem. There was no one from our neighborhood at the table with FDOT as they were creating the redesign of the 10th Avenue North interchange. I am at the table. I'm on a first, last, and middle name basis with the folks from FDOT, and I intend to continue to do so on the behalf of my neighborhoods. Thank you.
Kathy Turk has raised her rebuttal. It's her first of her 2-minute rebuttals. And her timekeeper ready? You may start.
The only thing I'd like to add to that is that on the CDBG money, that is money that is used for infrastructure, and it does take part, there is a certain part of our community that is eligible for that. The issue I have with using it for code enforcement